is we have a project that we pay our teachers for exemplary lesson plans. So a lesson plan that has gone above and beyond, we pay them for this, and they'll spend time on it, and then those lesson plans go into a lesson plan data bank that are available to everybody.
Right.
And they have, it's not just your regular run-of-the-mill lesson, it's an exemplary lesson that has everything that you would need. You pull down the lesson, it's got your assignments, it's got the kinds of projects that you might do with your students. I find that often teachers are, they struggle with how to make a project. It's easy to do a piece of paperwork, easy to fill out a worksheet on, you know, the salt roads in Africa, with the African kingdom. Really hard to find out why the role of salt played such an important role in the development of civilization, and yet you have some very creative teachers out there doing some very cool things like, well, we're going to bring in some meat and we're going to cure it and we're going to save it and we're going to eat it, and that's why it was so important.
Right.
And, you know, kids dig that and they get it, and it's hands-on, and yet you're not taking any time out and you're actively engaging the student, and because of the way we're doing this program, all of that can be shared easily across the whole district.
So, and it's nice to provide, if you're, you know, so that if you're expecting something, just like with students, to provide an example of what you're looking for is really critical.
Well,
so that's, as in terms of implementation of an initiative, it's pretty clear what the expectation is if you have exemplary, you know, pieces within the program that people can take a look at too.
And I think that really makes a difference, you know, when you have, and typically, you know, we've had, the way we do that actually is we put out a call for our lesson plans, and we have a review board essentially made up of teachers that are in there, not their subject area because we're so small, that's kind of difficult for us, but we have, you know, enough teachers that are elementary teachers and enough teachers that are high school teachers that they'll go through and do a evaluation. And sometimes the lesson plan gets sent back and says, you know, we really like to see more of this, or you know, this is really awesome, and you're done. You know, and
so then the teacher who submits gets descriptive feedback as well.
That's right.
But also think about the professional development opportunity it is for the teachers who are sitting on that panel.
Well, it's for everybody.
Because it's you know, opening up a whole dialogue. That's really like what you want to see happening in PLCs and in groups anyway, is discussion about instruction.
Well, and what you're doing is you're supporting you're supporting thinking about intentional instruction. You know, if you have, here's an example of an exemplary lesson plan, and I have to think about how to do that, and they don't have to. Nobody's required to do this. You know, we pay them $100 per lesson plan. So, you know, it's not a bad, it's a nice chunk of change, but it's got to meet a standard.
Right.
And we've had lesson plans refused, and they've gone back, and I've had teachers get mad. Why was it refused? And I was like, well, you know, because he essentially just copied the book.
Right.
You know, and it wasn't really so original. And so we're kind of looking for original stuff that doesn't infringe copyright. We can start with that problem, you know.
Right. But that's another layer of this initiative
of the program. That's right.
That really promotes buy-in and really promotes sort of a community. It's like, you know, it takes a village kind of comes into that everybody's going to contribute